Welcome back to the Long Acres Finance channel. If you've watched any of my videos in the past, you already know that I'm a big fan of dividend investing. And any fan of dividend stocks must be familiar with the Dividend Kings. They are some of the most elite dividend payers and growers with a history of 50 years or more of raising their dividend payments. Right now there are 36 Dividend Kings according to the updated list on suredividend.com. Even though all Dividend Kings have fantastic dividend growth histories, not all of them will be great investments in the future. I've come up with a few simple strategies for selecting the potentially more opportune Dividend Kings to invest in right now. The strategies have worked out well in the past, with most delivering better returns than the collective Dividend King universe of stocks. In the past, I would publish these strategies once a month here on YouTube and in an article on Seeking Alpha. But I had a thought that maybe it would be more beneficial for you to have access to this dataset on an ongoing basis. So I transferred my personal Dividend King spreadsheet onto a Google Sheet. And I made a few tweaks to this spreadsheet, so now the vast majority of the data is updated live, or rather with a small delay. I will be sharing this spreadsheet with my Patreon members, where they will be able to see which Dividend Kings are the best at any given moment. The link is already out there on my Patreon page. If you're a member, you'll be able to see the post that has a brief description of the spreadsheet and the shared link. If you're not a member of my Patreon, but you are interested in seeing this spreadsheet, I would suggest waiting till February 2nd to join. Patreon always charges members on the first day of the month, regardless of when you sign up. If you join on February 2nd, you'll have a full month, albeit a shorter month, to decide if the value of my Patreon is worth the $5 monthly patronage. You can cancel your membership at any time. In addition to the Dividend King spreadsheet that I want to show you today, I have plans to create one for the Dividend Aristocrats, and for my high yield and high growth watchlist at some point in the future. Okay, so let's jump over to Google Sheets and take a look at the spreadsheet. There are 5 tabs or worksheets in the spreadsheet right now. They are labeled Review, Kings, Yield, Dividend, and Returns. The Kings tab is where you want to start. This worksheet lists all of the current Dividend Kings, as well as the juicy data that you have seen in my Dividend King updates in the past. The vast majority of this information is being pulled into this document and will be updated live with a slight delay. The price is provided by Google Finance and can be delayed up to 20 minutes. The most current annual dividend data comes from FinViz, and the only exception here is for Farmers and Merchants Bancorp that is not available on FinViz. I will be updating the dividend data for this stock on a monthly basis. The dividend yield will update automatically anytime the annual dividend or price changes. The trailing dividend yield comes from the Yield tab, where I have the average dividend yield for the last 4 years and 2022. This will be updated on a monthly basis by me. The potential undervaluation is a comparison of the current dividend yield and the trailing dividend yield. This figure will update live as the dividend yield changes. Additionally, all potentially undervalued Dividend Kings will be highlighted in green. As you can see, there are a handful of potentially undervalued Dividend Kings right now. The 5-year dividend growth rate comes from the Dividend tab. In this tab, you can see the annual dividend history for the last 11 years for all the Dividend Kings, as well as the trailing 3, 5, and 10-year dividend growth rates. I also have a comparison of the 3 and 5-year dividend growth rate, and in column B you can see whether dividend growth is increasing or declining for each Dividend King. Going back to the Kings tab, the next column is the Chowder number. This will update throughout the day as the dividend yield changes. The Chowder number is the combination of the dividend yield and the 5-year dividend growth rate. The next column is the Quant rating that comes straight from Seeking Alpha. This is the Wall Street analyst rating for each company, and this information is updated on a monthly basis. The rating can range from 1 to 5, with 5 being the best. A few of the Dividend Kings are not rated, so you will see a few zeros in this column. The next column shows the 5-year earnings per share forecast, and this information is updated live from FinViz. And the final column, labeled EPS plus valuation, is my computation for the expected future rate of return for each company. This is the combination of the EPS growth forecast, the current dividend yield, and a return to fair value based on dividend yield theory. This estimate will update throughout the day as the dividend yield fluctuates based on price movements. It will also update if the EPS forecast changes for the company. I have also set all expected rates of return of 12% or more to be highlighted in green. This is my personal annual return target, so I personally like to look for stocks that are forecast to hit or exceed this goal. Please keep in mind the expected rate of return is just an assumption, and it does not guarantee that a stock with a higher forecast will be a better investment than a stock with a lower forecast. This investment approach is based on my theory that quality companies with above average earnings growth and attractive valuations should provide above average long-term returns. I have not backtested this theory, but instead I am tracking it live to see how it performs. Thus far the results have been good if you watch my Dividend King monthly series updates. Okay, so that's the Lead tab here, the Kings tab where the meat and potatoes of the value for the spreadsheet lies. Additionally, I created a Returns tab, where you can see the total return by year for each Dividend King going back to 1986. Or as far back as information was available. This tab also shows the trailing annualized return for a few time periods, like the past 3, 5, and 10 years. Again here, trailing annualized returns of 12% or more are highlighted in green. The final tab of the file is the Review tab, which is still a work in progress. Basically, I want to create a tab where you can get a closer look at any specific Dividend King, with all the major information shown on one page. Sometimes it can be easier to review data for a specific stock in this format rather than a line item in a table. Right now, the page shows the latest price, dividend, and valuation data in the top left table. The top right table shows the 4 metrics I use for my simple strategies, and the price to earnings and PEG ratios. The bottom left table is a closer look at the dividend history for the chosen stock, and the bottom right table is the return history for the last 11 years, as well as a trailing 3 and 5 year return. By changing the ticker symbol at the top of the page, I can look at any of the current Dividend Kings. Let's say I wanted to take a look at Target. I would simply type TGT in here, and voila, the table is updated to show the latest data for Target. I'll be adding additional functionality to this tab in the future. For right now, I will be giving patrons view-only permissions for the spreadsheet, so you'll be able to see all of this information, but you won't be able to change anything. I'd also like to know what you guys think, what you like and what you don't like, and if there's anything else you think I can add to this spreadsheet to make it better, please let me know. Thanks for watching, and I hope you check out the spreadsheet.